But the reason why this is so sexy and elegant at the same time, it's because it's very flattering for the female figure. Hello ladies, so today I put together a PowerPoint for you that I'm going to show you, and essentially it is clothing guidelines to look classy, feminine, and at the same time sexy. Now these are going to be technical terms that are known all over the fashion industry, but these are going to be for certain types of clothing. There are so many overwhelming choices everywhere, online, in stores, so sometimes they might get confusing and you think it's just a big pool of randomness. Well, in reality, everything has a science behind it and there are technical terms. And today I'm going to be I've looked at over 170 types of clothing terms. Yes, there are a lot. And I picked just a few. More will be coming out later. Perhaps I can write a guide for it if you want. Speaking of guides, I did write one by popular request about how to increase your confidence and basically glow up a room when you walk into it. It's quite a lengthy guide. It's an ebook. You can get it at intoamillylady.com/confidence, or it's going to be linked down below. People are really loving it, so I suggest that you check it out. So there's a lot of technical terms, and it's not a pool of randomness. It's actually very well structured, and designers use this, everybody uses it. But some are used for fashion purposes, others are used for enhancing your look, and essentially this is what this channel is about, is how for you to become the best version of yourself. So I picked out a few of these terms, so when you go shopping online or in person, you kind of know the slight science behind it, and you can pick certain items that actually accentuate your figure and make you look feminine and very, very appealing with our natural bodies. So here's the guide. Let's look at the first one. This is a chemise, and it's essentially a tubular close-fitting dress. Most people know it as a nightgown, right? It's not a dress slip, because a dress slip is worn under the dress. This can actually be worn by itself. So the one on the left here, it looks like a nightgown, and yes, it is kind of an around the house, sexy, made out of silk type of wear. But what people don't know is that you can actually wear it out. Now, be very discretionary with this, and it has to be the right time and place, because it is a little bit risque. But of course, I don't think there is one set way to do things, and although we always try to be the best version of ourselves and be classy and sexy, there is no shame in going a little bit to the sexier side and wearing something like this. People in the 90s and the 2000s wore this all the time as garments, and of course it really has to fit the occasion. For example, it's a romantic date somewhere with your loved one. Obviously you can't wear it to a business event or a Christmas party or anything like that, and probably great for vacation, but also the type of style, right? The one on the left definitely looks more like lingerie, while the one on the right is definitely something you can wear out if you dress it up appropriately. So I've personally done this, and again, it really depends on your level of kind of how you know, if you feel that you can do this or not, but I think it's totally fine, and I think it looks quite sexy. So the next one right here is a princess cut. This one is actually, I tried to find a picture so you could really see how it looks like, but you can see the vertical seams going down the bust line in the picture on the left. So they go down to your waistline and then it flares, right? It could be any type of flare, but the reason why this is so sexy and elegant at the same time, it's because it's very flattering for the female figure, right? It accentuates the bust area, it slims at the waist, and then it poofs out at the bust, which resembles an hourglass figure, which visually and based on kind of centuries of biological mindsets, it is the most kind of standard body figure, right? Just based on science. There's ways we can kind of change our figure to make it look that way, but it doesn't have to be as intense. A dress on the right I picked out, I actually purchased a similar dress to this, mainly because this one went out of stock, but you can kind of see how it follows the figure. You can't really see, but it would have seams right here, but it really does accentuate the figure. It flares out on the bust, it tightens at the curve here, and then also it accentuates the bust and the hips area, which is a great, I think it's very classy and extremely sexy at the same time. Next one are mini hemlines. These are gorgeous. I love 90s styles, as you can see by this PowerPoint presentation. But essentially mini hemlines is anything that ends above the mid-thigh. Here's an example of Sarah Jessica Parker on the right, and then a beautiful model from the 90s on the left. It's a short skirt, yet it's not short and tight, such as those clubbing dresses that you see that are also mini hemlines. However, the clubbing dresses are often very tight and curve hugging, and when clothes are too tight, it's not very flattering. You may think that tight clothes accentuate your figure, while in reality, when it's too tight, it actually looks cheap because you can start to see any tiny little imperfections, even if you don't necessarily have them. But it's just not a good look to go too tight. But if it's dressed up this way, where it is short and you're showing your beautiful long legs, you know, the dresses here are not tight and they have a lot of character, and I think they're very classy and elegant and sexy. So I do love these mini hemlines. Then we have a sheath dress. Now this is a little bit more conservative if you are on the conservative side, and also if you are going to a work occasion, maybe a family kind of event. Obviously you don't want to dress up a little bit too much, right? A work environment, even the length of the dress, both of these are great, but essentially a sheath follows the body contour. So again, it's not super tight as a clubbing dress would supposedly be. This also is curve fitting. However, you can see from both of these dress examples, they're not very tight, so you can't see everything, but it is very, very body hugging. It hugs the contours and it still looks very professional. So I love these types of dresses, so keep on the lookout for these, and also pay attention to the material, because there are these types of dresses, but when they're made out of really thin and kind of flimsy material, it doesn't look good, because again, it clings onto your body and shows every little crevice, which is again just taking it to the extreme. So the fabric of these does have to be high quality and more kind of a slightly heavier fabric. Next is A-line skirt. I love these. Essentially, it's a skirt that's quite fitted on the waist. So again, it accentuates your waist, and then it slightly begins to flare as it goes down all the way to the hemline where it ends. These come in different kind of colors. Again, I think it was very popular in the 90s, and it still is. It's not the same as a skater skirt. It's a little bit more fitted, and I think this can be dressed up for nighttime, daytime, and especially lighter colors you can wear in the day. But this is very flattering for the legs and for the curvature, because again, it's very fitted at the waist, so it makes you look great. Moving on to our skirts, we have the Bouffant skirt. It's again similar to the A-line. It's very fitted at the waistline, but then when it goes down, it's very, very flared. Of course, you don't have to be as dramatic as these. These are kind of more artistic, and you know, could be great for night dresses, because as you can see, they make your waist look really, really small. But these come in different shapes and sizes. It was a little difficult finding too many examples online, but you can pay attention to this. I just want you to keep this in the back of your mind as you are shopping, whether it's online or in person, so you know the name of this, and potentially trying it on to see if it is something that will flatter your body. Next is a circular skirt, and these are great for professional environments. Again, I think they are professional yet very feminine and unique looking. So again, it's fitted at the waist, and then it has these gatherings that go all the way down, all the way around, so it really makes you look like you have a bigger thigh area and then a smaller waist. And this is actually really good if you are an inverted triangle, because if you have broader shoulders and a smaller waist, this can kind of make your hips look bigger and give you that ideal, as they call it, hourglass shape, or get closer to it, because the whole point of clothing is to kind of accentuate your body and make it look next level, and you want to be proportional and whatnot. And there's little tricks we can do, and this is one of those tricks. But the reason, obviously, the circular skirt is not as sexy as the other outfits, but I did want to bring this up just because I'm trying to find examples for all lifestyles. If you are at a work setting, or if you're going to a party setting, or just for fun. So I think this would be great for, as the person on the left, they're doing kind of a presentation. I think it looks very feminine and at the same time quite professional, and it does look sexy because it is a feminine skirt. And then last but not least is a pencil skirt. I mean, it's no surprise, it follows the body contour, so it is extremely sexy yet professional looking. Of course, there is definitely kind of a gray line with this, and I've seen this pencil skirt thing get taken a little too far, and some people even try to wear this inappropriately to the office. Again, you have to make sure it's fitted to your body. You can't have it be too tight where it's showing every tiny little curvature, because then it's just simply unprofessional. Also, watch out for the slits, because a slit can be a little bit sexy even if it's kind of a small slit like the one on the right. Sometimes for work that may not be appropriate, but you can couple it, right? The one on the left is extremely feminine. I think it's quite sexy and it's professional at the same time, right? Because we are women at the end of the day. We shouldn't be expected to show up to work looking like a potato sack and covering everything we have, right? This is our figure that we're given naturally, so we should be able to accentuate it without going over the top, right? Because some people, I've seen it in work environments, it just doesn't look very professional when it's just too body hugging. But if it follows the contours in an appropriate way, then it is appropriate, right? The one on the left, I would say it's definitely appropriate. The one on the right is a little bit risque, even though it's long, but above the knee is showing, so I would say that's inappropriate for work. But nonetheless, it is a beautiful skirt, and you could wear it for any other things. If it's kind of more of a casual work setting, maybe you're with friends or acquaintances that's outside of the office. But essentially that's it for the PowerPoint slides. I hope that this brings value to you when you go shopping and you're considering how to look sexy but professional and elegant at the same time. Of course, I have a whole playlist about classy and elegant clothes, and I will be coming out with more videos and perhaps a guide. But until then, you should really look into my confidence and getting your power back guide, which is at intoamilylady.com/confidence. You will love it. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I will see you in the next one.